What's going on, everybody? Welcome to a new video. We are here doing some FIA racing in the Audi R8 around Spa-Francorchamps. This was actually a video that I made back a week ago for the Nations Cup race here at Spa-Francorchamps. So it was Group 3 around this track, but the main car that was being chosen around here was the Audi R8, as that was just the strongest car all around on top end speed, in the corners and all that good stuff. But we didn't have to worry much about the tire wear. I know the Audi R8 is really bad on the tire wear, but we didn't really have to worry about it here since it was only 9 laps and we were given the hard compound tire. So it was just going to be a straight sprint race. Just put in as quick of lap times as we can, avoid all these mistakes and avoid getting caught up in some battling, and hopefully we can come home with a good position as we are going to be starting at 4th place. So 0 stops here, don't have to worry about the fuel. Let's see how we do as we are gonna now jump into the grid. Jumping into the grid again, we are starting on P4, but you guys might have noticed something, and that is it is going to be a grid start. So not my favorite, especially here on Spa-Francorchamps, but I could understand why they wanted to do this, because it'll keep things a lot more tighter than if we were having a rolling start. But we wait for the 5 red lights and just await our doom to see if we're gonna get knocked out into turn number 1, and 5 red lights are out and away we go. So we get a great run already ahead of P3, but we get boxed in by Dr. Egotistic, or I don't know how to say his name, but 2nd place, and we get knocked out from behind as we just get absolutely rammed. And as we try to rejoin the track, it gets spun out, and now we do the challenge of going back from 2nd place all the way down to 18th. As you can see, some other people were caught up in some mayhem as well. So into the replay here, we get immediately smashed out by the Audi right behind us, but on top of that we get pushed out even further. And as we attempted to try to rejoin the track, I might have joined in just a tad bit too aggressively, and we ended up spinning ourselves out. But behind us you can see all the carnage that was going on, as about seems like 5 or 6 other drivers were taken out there, as the driver in the purple car absolutely missed his braking point, smashed into all of them like they were bowling pins. And this is the result now, boys, as we are down into 18th position. So heading into Pouan here on the first lap, we see that someone up ahead in 17th actually loses it and gets spun out by accidentally touching that AstroTurf, and we are able to gain 1 free position due to that, as we now set our sights on the guys up ahead. And luckily for us, ahead of us it is just a penalty galore, as everybody, I believe the 3 cars ahead of us have a half a second penalty, and that is going to be in our favor here as long as we can keep it clean. And once we hit the penalty zone, maybe, just maybe, we can gain another position. But as we jump into lap number 2, we head in through Rouge and Radion for the 2nd time here, and making sure that we don't abuse the track limits. That is one thing you had to be careful of. You can see everyone already ahead of us had a half a second penalty, and that was not due to just rough racing. That was actually due to extending the track limits or accidentally corner cutting. And on this track, it is very difficult to keep all 4 tires on the actual racing surfaces. We were able to get a great overtake heading into the combs, but yeah, it's very difficult to keep your tires, all 4 of them, inside the racing surface and not extend the track limits, due to the fact that a lot of these corners are very quick corners, and you just want to use every inch of the track as much as you can without abusing the track limits or getting that corner cut. And that is what leads to a lot of people getting that half a second penalty. So that's one thing we're going to have to keep on the back of our mind as we try to work our way through the field. But into lap number 3 now, into La Source, we are on the inside of the 15th place driver. We brake as late as we can. We're able to get the overtake done, and we are now up into P15 as we have a juicy train right ahead of us. So things looking promising for us. We're actually having some pace here, and as long as we don't make any huge mistakes and we are able to kind of look over our tires, we should be all right here, as the American right ahead of us in 14th place just absolutely loses it coming out of the combs. And there we go, we're able to get another position. So just capitalizing on these mistakes here, as we are now up into P14. And as we come into the final half of the lap here on lap 13, you can see that it's still very bunched up ahead for P10, as the 13th place driver looks onto the inside of Vogs, pushes him out of the way, and Vogs just regains control right ahead of us, and we had nowhere to go except for his outside. And this was a very, very treacherous part of the track to go onto the outside, especially off of that right-hand corner, because easily Vogs could have gotten some understeer and pushed us out wide. And once you hit that green AstroTurf on the outside of that right-hander, it's basically game over. You're heading straight into the barrier. But we get a really great run on Vogs here. As you can see, he's in the Porsche. We go onto the left-hand side of the chicane, and we attempt to go for an overtake here on the outside, but just giving back the position as we see a yellow flag up ahead. Looking around to see what was the cause for the yellow flag, but I believe the car that caused the incident was able to regain control and was able to drive away. But heading into La Source for the 4th time, Mad Knight Mopar goes onto the outside, lets Vogs go through, and then just takes him out. And that is 2 free positions back again on our end. As you can see on the replay, Mad Knight Mopar just lets Vogs go through and then tries to go for an undercut, just pushes him out, flashes an emergency signal, and then yeah, so lets us go through, and 2 other cars go through. So we were able to gain 2 free positions in just 1 corner, which is absolutely brilliant. But now we just try to catch up to these guys up ahead, and we can see how many more positions we can gain now, as the Canadian up in 11th had to serve a ½ second penalty. We are now in his slipstream as we head down off of Lacombe down into the right-hander that leads us into No Name now. At the end of this lap here, off of Blanchimont, we are still in the slipstream, and we are getting a really great tow from the Audi as we attempt to make a little peek onto the inside of the Canadian. Side by side into the chicane, make a little bit of contact there, and he pushes us out wide a little bit on the exit, and we have basically no grip due to the fact that we got into the AstroTurf. And he's able to hold off the 11th place position, as it was just a little bit of argy-bargy there, but it's fair. We made a little bit of a nudge with him. He made a little bit of a nudge with us. A 50-50 right there in my opinion. But as we come out of the source, we are still stuck behind him, and we should be all right as we head into the Camel Straight, as long as we get a good run through Rouge and Radion. And we stay right behind him here on the slipstream, making sure that we don't abuse the track limits, as we are very, very close. But the Porsche loses the back end off of Radion, goes wide, and we are able to regain the 11th place position away from him. And now we focus on our sights to get into the top 10, as we are now working our way on Alex ahead of us in the Audi. So it gets a little bit loose coming out of Lecomp's, and we're taking full advantage here as he's still getting loose. We go into the inside, avoid making contact with his right rear, and we brake as late as we can, heading into the right corner. And there we go, boys and girls. We are now up into P10s. We get a little bit of a lag spike up ahead for 8th place. Now, while all that was going on, behind us, we're riding along with Mad Knight Mopar, and I am not sure exactly what I was witnessing right there, as he was just pushing people left and right out of the way. Not sure if he just had a really bad race and was just taking his frustration out on other people, but yeah, I looked in the replay and I did not know what I was witnessing. But unfortunately for those guys that were getting taken out, you know, they were here for a good time, but the race is going to be very, very long, especially if they got taken out by Mad Knight. But as we focus now on this battle here going on with the Porsche and the Audi, we attempted to make a little peek on the inside of the Porsche on the chicane, but the gap closed up on us really quickly. But as we head into La Source, we were able to gain onto the inside of Adios in the R8, and we were able to get the overtake done. And now we are up into P9 as we are riding in the slipstream behind J2K, getting a really great run. He defends the inside down the Camel Straight. We go onto the left-hand side, and it's going to be very, very treacherous here as we attempt to brake as late as we can, side by side into Lecomp's. We give him the position, as I did not want to go side by side into that left-hander, especially being on the inside. We could easily just get pushed wide, or I guess narrow, on that corner and lose the back end. So we just want to be a little bit patient here. We know we have the pace, and we see 6th place up ahead. So if we can get around J2K, we still have plenty of time to catch up to that 6th place position. But off of that corner, we just accidentally abuse the track limit, and it gives us a ½ second penalty, and that sucks a little bit as 7th place just loses it going off into the right corner. So We were able to get the 8th place position, not away from J2K, but off of a mistake that happened to 7th place, and we'll take that. That's another mistake in our arsenal there. And now we're just gonna work with J2K. I know I have that half a second penalty. The guy behind us, actually, Adios, I believe had also a half a second penalty, and you can see that 6th place is right up ahead, not too far up the track. So I did not want to fight with J2K. I wanted to work alongside with him, see if we can just put in quick, consistent sector times here. And once we serve our penalty, hopefully, you know, we helped him enough to catch up to 6th. But as we come out of Radion, we get a really great run, and we go onto the grass. I'm actually going to show you guys a little trick here. As we head to the penalty zone, you can see that I kept 2 tires on the grass, and that actually minimizes the amount of penalty you actually take. I know it sounds crazy, but the fact that the track is, or the grass is very, very slippery, it doesn't slow the car down 100% as the penalty zone wants you to actually do it. So if you guys ever see me going into the grass, if I ever get a penalty, you guys know why. It just doesn't slow the car down as much as it should, and you're actually able to minimize the penalty. But off of the right hand corner, you can see that J2K gets 4 wheels on that AstroTurf, and it just sucked him out wide. But he got very, very lucky that he didn't go straight into that barrier, as 9 out of 10 times you are heading straight into that barrier or you are spinning out, as you saw what happened. I believe it was the lap prior to the original 7th place driver. But into the chicane, we attempt to go onto the outside of J2K, but didn't work out here, as he's covering the inside and just parking on the apex, and we are unable to get a really great exit on him. But we're still stuck in the slipstream right here, and if we can just be patient, maybe we can get the overtake done heading into the Camel straight. So we go into La Source, take a very wide exit so we can get maximize the acceleration down the straight, leads into Rouge and Radion, and we stay in the slipstream here. And if we can time this perfectly, we can possibly gain the 7th place position. He gets a really bad run through our Rouge. We go onto the outside. We have the pace right now. The Audi should be stronger on top end speed than the Porsche, and you can see right there we are flying right by him. We try to go into the inside, try to cover our line here, going into Le Combs, and there we go, boys. We were able to make the overtake, and we are now up into P7. So not too shabby, not too shabby. You have to remember, we were at P18 on lap number 1, and in the span of 8 laps, we were able to crawl our way up into P7, worthy, in my opinion, of a Hamilton drive that he did back in Brazil. And we're going to see if we can try to catch up to these guys up ahead in 6th and 7th as we now jump into the final lap. Now, on the final lap here, we are heading into No Names, and you can see that the gap is starting to close from us to 6th and 5th. And as we come into No Name here, we get a yellow flag, and you can see 6th place actually loses the back end. He gets spun out, and we are able to now go up into P7. As we jump into the replay, the Audi just loses it, gets 2 wheels on that AstroTurf, loses the back end, and then we go flying right past him. And we are now up into P7. So we were able to gain another position, but it's still not over here. We still have half a lap left, and I wanted to push as much as I could. As you can see, we were gaining and gaining and gaining on 5th place, but at the end of the day, we were unable to close the gap completely. And we're going to come out of the final corner, down the main straight, past the start finish line, and finish this race in 6th place. So very, very great redemption race right here, especially because we were all the way down to P18, lost a lot of time, especially the fact that we had spun out. We were trying to get ourselves faced the right way, and we had lost a lot of time from the actual main pack. But I believe if we had an extra 2 or 3 laps, maybe 4, 5, we probably could have gotten up to P4, maybe podium. That might have been pushing it, but definitely couldn't get the win, as the leader and I were running basically the same pace, as I was just keeping an eye on our difference in time throughout the entirety of the race. But at least we were able to crawl our way back into P6, so I was very, very happy about that. Probably one of my strongest runs on this game, and I had to be very, very proud of that. But let me know what you guys thought about this race when you guys did it. Leave it in the comments down below. If you guys really enjoyed the video, feel free to smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm. Hit that subscribe button down below if you want to catch more content. I do live streams and videos here on this channel. And if you guys really enjoyed the video, I really hope to catch you guys on the next one. Peace.